welcome to Soul Symbols. My name is Shelly. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Happy Saturday. It is the weekly energy card reading, and what that is every Saturday I will let you, the watcher, choose from one of 3 tarot decks, and I will go ahead and do a brief spread to show what the general energies will be like for the next 7 days. It does not have to be the week of June 13th through the 20th in order for the messages to resonate. If you were drawn to this video at any time, please feel free to check it out because there may be some messages contained for you. All of the timestamps are in the description box below, as are the names and authors of the decks that I use. And today I'm going to do something a little special. I thought it had been a while since we had done charms, so I have my charms in a bag. I normally have a charms dish, but the dish kind of got messed up, and so I've been keeping my charms in a bag that I made, and it actually is working really well, and it's kind of jiving with my color theme. Like even the little tray that I use kind of goes with everything. So I think I might even just keep them in there because I think it works well, right? But I'll go ahead and stop blabbing and let you choose your deck. The first deck is the Tarot of the Southwest Sacred Tribes, and paired with it is a Jasper Stone. The middle deck is the Slow Tarot by Lacey Bryant, paired with a Bloodstone. And the third deck is the Linestrider Tarot by Siolo Thompson, and it has with it a blue quartz. But if you need more time, please pause the video and please choose from your intuition, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. So let me go ahead and get started. So I'll go ahead and I'll do your spread, and then we'll pull your charms. These are decks I haven't used in a while. I know I try to keep all the decks in rotation so they all get good use. So deck number 1. Thank you. Okay, middle of the week. Oh, they're just coming out for us. Oh my gosh, we've got a divine pair here. We got Empress, Emperor, and 2 3s. Wow, look at that, guys. That's amazing. Is it 3 of Cups? No. Okay. But let me go ahead and we'll pull your charms. This is actually a bag that I've had for a while. Like, I made it a long time ago. And this is actually working out really nicely. So, here. Go ahead and we'll put that right there. Just grab a few. Oh my gosh. You got two dragons. Okay, we'll go ahead and put that there. All right. So guys, so the beginning of the week, you got the 6 of Swords. And the 6 of Swords is, it's a peaceful card. It's a card about going from rocky shores to calmer waters, right? You see the person staring at the island in the distance, right? And you have all the swords in their boat, and what they're doing is he's rowing very slowly towards a better place, right? Kind of a better place. And so at the beginning of the week, I think you're really, the 6 of Swords is really probably one of the most peaceful cards of the sword suit, because the swords are, you know, there are no bad cards in tarot, but the swords are very much about being up in your head, right? They're about thinking, they're about words. Sometimes they can be about harsh words or harsh thoughts. And the 6 is just such a beautiful energy, because in the beginning of the week, you're really going to be, I think you're going to be in a calm place in your mind, and your main focus is going to be on slowly and steadily getting someplace that's nurturing for you, right? So it could be that, you know, and again, with it being times as with current events being as they are, if you know if you're watching this right at the time that it posts, in mid-June 2020, so much of the world is about to reopen, and you know, a lot of businesses are taking steps to try to get back to normal, which we know will take a long time. So this could be that energy, right? It's kind of like that beginning. You're just casting off, and you know that you got a ways to go, right? You got a ways to go, but it's slow and steady. So it really does seem like you've come from a place. You've come a long way, right? But the beginning of the week, you're definitely in that energy. The other thing that I love about the Six of Swords is that the Six of Swords is really about, because you see the character has his back turned to the camera, so to speak, you don't see their face. It really means that their focus is not on anything except the path ahead for them, right? And I actually really love this deck. I did not realize that this deck, most of the time the Six of Swords have 3 people in the boat, and this person is a single person. So, you know what, that's kind of nice, because sometimes in a read, when you're looking at the Six of Swords, you don't know if the card is referencing possibly more than one person. Like maybe you have to go to calmer shores with, you have to worry about more than just yourself. But here I definitely get a sense that you are in a calm space. If you've ever had those moments of kind of meditation, it's almost like when you've been overstimulated and you're worried about the future, the best thing to do is to kind of go into your own bubble, right? Kind of leave the worries outside of your bubble and just be there with yourself. So it's just you and your canoe, right? It's just you and your thoughts in your canoe, and they're peaceful thoughts, and you're just very steadily rowing towards calmer shores. So that's a very good energy. The other thing is that I think it's a very singular energy. So you're focusing on what nourishes you, right? You're focusing on what makes you happy and what brings you peace. So that's going to be your energy at the beginning of the week. Now, by the middle of the week, you got the Empress. So you got the Empress. Now, the Empress is that the divine feminine. I had mentioned by the end of the week you have the Emperor, and the Emperor and the Empress are counterparts, right? It's divine masculine and divine feminine. So what it could be is this very well could be a mother figure if it's you. If it's you, what you could be doing is you might be in a very nurturing energy by the middle of the week. It's possible that you could be taking care of other people, or you might be kind of acting in a matriarchal role. But the energy that I kind of get that this might be a person that you are interacting with. And if this is a person, this can be your mother. So maybe by the middle of the week, you're taking care of your mother. Also, alternatively, if you're a man, and gender makes no difference, you can be a man in the Empress energy. But if you're a man watching this reading, this could very well be like the mother of your children, or this can be an expectant mother, someone that you know who is pregnant. But basically, I'm kind of getting the 2 eyes. I really feel like you're just going to be in a very nurturing kind of energy. The other thing is that the Empress is very receptive. She's very open, right? She's very open to love. And the other vibe that I kind of get from that is that maybe by the middle of the week, and the fact that, the beginning of your week is kind of peaceful and kind of steady and slow going, I think by the middle of the week, you might be spending some time in nature. The Empress is very much kind of like a Mother Gaia kind of feeling. The other thing is that with that receptiveness, when you're kind of open to the world, when you go on walks and you just kind of feel at peace, you really do start to feel kind of the energy of nature. And I just feel like it just really makes you feel very open and receptive. So it's quite possible that you're just in a very zen and very nurturing. It's almost like you can feel the energy being given to you, and then you want to in turn give positive energy to others. So that could be in a very nurturing way. Again, you can be acting, and you can be any type of woman and experiencing this too. You can be a cousin, you can be an auntie. This doesn't necessarily have to be children that you physically birthed, right? But Also, if you are a mom, then this is really just kind of you and your mom vibes, right? Either that or you're around somebody who's kind of in a very maternal, nurturing kind of energy. Now, by the end of the week, you got the Emperor, and underneath the Emperor, you got 2 3s. And what I'm kind of drawn to too is that the Empress, the number of the card for the Empress is 3, right? And when you think about it, the Empress, she's, you have mother, father, child, which is 1 2 3, right? So the other thing, and the Emperor is the divine counterpart, so he's the more masculine. I think that maybe towards the end of the week, you're really going to be, the Three of Pentacles is a cooperation kind of card. It's working with others. And the Three of Wands is really preparing for a future, right? It's like taking action to prepare for something that's coming. And it's also kind of it's kind of like preliminary work. So I think, again, if this is all you, if this is all your energy, you can be you could be expressing the Empress you could be expressing the Empress energy in the middle of the week and the Emperor energy at the end of the week and still be one person. But I do think that at the end of the week, and again, this can be roles reversed, you might be dealing with an Emperor type. So like if you're the Empress, and you're feeling really kind of peaceful, you feel like you're just, things are going in a calm direction, you're going to feel very nurturing by the middle of the week. And by the end of the week, you would be dealing with someone who's a very masculine figure. It could be a husband or the father of your children. But he's going to be working hard. The Emperor is really he's the taskmaster. He makes plans. And he sees plans out to fruition. He's real good about organizing, right? And these 2 3s are really organization cards. Now, if you are expecting, this could be like the plans that you make when you're preparing, like, when you're, buying a crib, preparing a room and, getting everything ready. And by the end of the week, you might be kind of in that energy. Again, there's 2 3s here, and the Empress is a 3. So, either that or maybe, again, with everything about to open back up again, or, things about to, come back, into action, it could be preparing for that, right? And in that sense, it could be preparing yourself. Because again, there was one person in the boat here. If this was a traditional Six of Swords, I might think that this was, but I do think that it might be you preparing too. Because the other thing is that the Empress, being the mother figure, she deals a lot with the home, right? And where have we been for 3 months? We've been at home, right? So the Emperor is definitely someone he's kind of like the CEO. He goes out into the world. So it's possible that by the end of the week, you've had a nice hiatus. You're finishing up. It's almost like you're feathering your nest a little bit, and then by the end of the week, you're cooperating and preparing for what the future is going to bring. But it could very well, on the other side of it too, is that you could be finishing up home projects. Maybe, maybe there's some things that you've been doing that, your husband, promised to, fix the drain or, install a garbage disposal. But I definitely get, with these 3 3 3, I really, and it's 3 times, I do get the feeling that it's some kind of cooperation and some kind of preparation. I don't see cups here, so I do think this is more in a financial and an action kind of oriented way, but I am definitely getting the feeling that either a male figure in your life, or if this is you're going to be acting in a masculine energy at the end of the week, and you're really going to be preparing. Like, it's almost like you're getting the money ready, you're getting, you're taking the action, and you're expecting, right? There's something, both of these figures look very expectant, right? There's one person there, and there's one person there, and they're both kind of looking and watching, right? And that's really interesting too, because the other thing is that what's so interesting about this is that The Three of Wands normally has one person in it, one human. The Three of Pentacles normally has 3 people in it. And the Six of Swords normally have 3 people in it. But here the 6 and the 3 only have one person in it. Yep. So please let me know if this resonates at all. If you see something in that, you know, please feel free to leave a comment. But, oh, I'm sorry, we were out of focus really bad there. Okay, but yes, yeah, there's one person here, one person there. So now the charms that you got, if you can see this, I'll try to hold it up so you can see, is you've got the metal red horse, and you got the rooster, and then you got 2 dragons. You got 2 dragons. Now the red horse, I always read this as being the I always see this as the Knight of, I kind of read this as the Knight of Wands. But when he's jumping this way, it's almost like he's upside down. So there is, normally the Knight of Wands is a very independent energy. So, excuse me, I'm going to cough. Sorry, allergies have been a killer this week. But the Knight of Wands in kind of the downward motion, it's almost like you're coming out of that energy. I do definitely get the feeling as if that this is more of a cooperative. You know what? Also, with the way that this is reading, it's almost like you're doing things independently. You're doing things on your own. It's almost, and again, this could play into what's going on with the pandemic. You're somehow doing things remotely to help or to prepare. And again, that could be for your mother, or that could be, you know, you doing it for other people. But it's almost like you're taking action. Now, we've got 2 dragons here, and it's funny. You got Falcor the Luck Dragon, which is my favorite. He's very lucky, right? And then you got this other dude who's a little bit more fearsome. He's kind of a blue one. And you know what? This does almost remind me of kind of like a couple. It almost looks like a, you know, an emperor and an empress, right? So maybe you really are. This really is kind of getting the kind of family vibe here, because they are two dragons here. Now the rooster. Normally, I would read this as kind of like a lot of chatter. I normally read it as kind of like a chicken. I kind of think pick a little, talk a little. But with it being a rooster, and with this fearsome kind of dragon and the emperor, I almost get the feeling like I get a real fatherly vibe, as if I'm hearing rules the roost is what I'm hearing. I rule the roost. And if anybody rules the roost, it's definitely the emperor, right? And look at the feathers in that too, guys. Wow, even the colors are kind of a synchronicity. He kind of looks like, you know, it does. So I do think that if you are a woman and you're kind of dealing with a masculine towards the end of the week, he's almost going to be kind of dominant, but it's almost, it's not in a real tough way, but it's almost like his way goes, like his plan. You always, you know, she follows. And the other thing is, you kind of see it here, the way that it's laid out. You know, it's almost, it does look as if the emperor's leading and she's following, right? And where he's leading is he's making a lot of plans. So I am getting kind of a parent's vibe or a family vibe, but definitely you seem to be following the lead, and someone rules the roost towards the end of the week. But I hope that makes sense, and I hope that resonated. If there's, you know, please let me know if you saw anything else in the charms or in the cards, and I'll go ahead and I'll put your charms right there. I'm just trying to pull a few. All right, so let's go ahead and deck number 2, the Slow Tarot. I'm excited to pull this one out in a read for a little while, for the first time in a while. Sorry, I'm not articulate. I'm not very articulate today. But, all right, so deck number 2. What's your energies like for this week? Oh, gosh. And then middle of the week. Ooh. Holy Toledo. And end of the week. We got a lot of cards. End of the week. Oh my gosh, guys. You got so many swords. Whew. And we'll let your charms clarify, but yeah, we got the Five of Wands kind of trying to pop out. That's definitely conflict. It doesn't, you know, depending on the surrounding cards kind of determine what type of conflict it is. Is it bad conflict? Is it just annoying conflict, you know? So I'm really digging how the gold and the blue, I don't know why I didn't pick up on this before. This is really, really coordinating. Right, charms, charms, charms. So deck number 2. What's the energy? Wow, okay. The sun also did want to pop out there, so that kind of makes sense. Wow, oh, you got the star, you got the star, you got the star. Oh, I love it. Love it. Okay, we will get into that in a minute. All right, guys, so at the beginning of the week, you got, now you got the Four of Cups, and this is really a great Four of Cups, but you got it in reverse. And behind it, you got the Six of Wands in reverse, which is that victory card. And I felt compelled to pull out both of them together, but I think the Six of Wands is a little bit of a softer, it's not as strong as the Four of Cups in reverse, but we'll read them together. But Four of Cups in reverse is, I'm really seeing that you're and the fact that, you know, like the sun wanted to pop out. I think you've been kind of in a lethargic energy lately, and the Six of Wands being in reverse, you see what a victorious card it is in the upright, and when it's reversed, it's almost like it's just, honestly, if I'll come out and say it, guys, if in the last few weeks you've been kind of feeling like a loser, and I do not like that word. I've never used that word to describe myself or anybody else, but that's kind of what I think of when I see the Six of Wands backing up the Four of Cups. It's almost like you feel like you can't win is kind of the feeling. But what it is that the Four of Cups is feeling kind of numb. It's kind of like not wanting to engage in life. That's the other thing, is that this depiction of the Six of Wands is nice too, because it's sports related, right? The Rider-Waite-Smith rendition of Six of Wands is more victory, and it doesn't. I like the fact that it kind of depicts sports, because this might not be a situation of like win-lose, but it might be that, and again, it can be pinned, if you're watching this at the time that this is really, this first gets posted, which is the middle of June 2020, we are just now coming, you know, in North America, we are just now starting to see lower cases of the virus, and things are we're finally transitioning from stage 1, which is, you know, watch and wait and social isolate, and that rhymed, you know, to stage 2, where we're starting to watch and gradually open things back up. So what I'm kind of feeling is, maybe it's not so much, and I'm sorry to use a bad term with it, it's not so much that you feel like a loser, but maybe you just feel like you can't win, or you're not feeling very vibrant right now. And that could be because maybe you're naturally maybe normally you're a very naturally outgoing person. And, you know how when all this began, you know, you saw all those memes that talked about, you know, check in with your extroverted friends because they are not okay. And, you know, 3 months later of being, you know, hashtag hella quarantine, you know, maybe you really did start to get a little numb. You know, the psychology of staying inside all the time, of, you know, as wonderful as technology is, seeing someone face to face is important. That maybe now you're starting to feel like you're coming alive a little bit. It's so funny. The other day I actually I actually went for a walk and I put on a little bit of makeup, and you would have thought I was a supermodel, you know, a little bit of concealer and some lipstick. And I was like, dang, I'm feeling human again, right? And it's kind of like that feeling. I think in the beginning of the week, you've either had something going on in your life where you feel like you just can't win, or you did kind of feel like maybe it is job related. Maybe, you know, income has been a little hard right now. And if you're in that situation, my heart really goes out to you, because I know this has been very tough times. This has been really hard for people. And it makes you melancholy. It really just gives you the blues. It makes you feel like you can't do anything. So I feel like you're coming out of that energy. And but you have been kind of in that trench for a while now. So you are still feeling a bit numb. Now, the thing about, the other thing is that this is cups and wands, so your energy's been real low and your emotions have just been, the thing about the Four of Cups in reverse, it's almost like just like you don't feel anything. Like it really is about being numb. It's like you refuse to feel anything. It's a really kind of, it's a little bit of a scary lethargy sometimes, especially when it's been in the reverse. But the middle of the week is quite interesting, because you got 3 sword cards and you got the Star, which is one of the most beautiful cards in the deck. And we had a tarot on the Star, and I actually used this card as one of the examples. But the Six of Swords also has water in the imagery, and it's so interesting. We got the Six of Swords. We got the Six of Swords in that deck too. So we got some common denominator cards there. But the Ace of Swords it's really about having a wondrous breakthrough, right? I really love this card because you got the little hummingbirds. And you know what? The hummingbirds, you know what I always think of when I see a hummingbird? I always think, it reminds me that their wings flap like an astounding number of times per second, right? And their heart beats very rapidly fast. And if they have to move that fast. It's almost like a shark that has to swim. You know, you have to, that's their nature, to always keep moving. And it's just that rapid movement. I think there's going to be something that happens. The other thing is you see this light kind of reflecting off the sword. By the middle of the week, you really, you're going to have some kind of breakthrough. Maybe it is some kind of news that really snaps you out of your funk, you know. It could be very good news, but I'm also getting a lot of mental stimulation. It's going to be something that just lights your mind up, right? It's almost like your switch gets flipped back on again. Now, underneath the Ace of Swords, you got the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords is, you see the lighthouse and you see the person in the boat. And there is actually 3 people in this boat. It's kind of hard to tell in this, but it's a beautiful image. And you see he's going from rocky waters to calm waters. But the thing that I'm seeing here is, you know, the other thing that I'm kind of seeing is you got daffodils. Daffodils are really about self-care. So the other thing with the 4 being in reverse, it's quite possible that maybe you just weren't giving yourself a lot of self-care. You might have, I almost get a feeling like maybe you were also kind of denying yourself a little bit of, sorry, I keep going out of focus there. It's almost as if maybe you were denying yourself a little nutrients or nourishment. Because you see that steaming cup of tea, right? And that looks so warm, right? It looks so warm. And, you know, all of your cups are cold, right? And it's almost like you're purposely denying yourself some kind of, you know, something warm. And now here, this is a lot of very, very quick, fast energy. You got the Ace, you got the Knight of Swords, and you got the Ace of Swords, and you got the Six of Swords. So there's, in the middle of the week, there is some kind of news. There's something coming to you with its hair on fire. You see what a fast, this, you know, the Knight of Wands, Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight in the deck, in the whole of tarot. And I do, you know, this can be related to current events because, again, with the Six of Swords, Six of Swords is moving to a better place. And the Ace of Swords is really having clarity. It's like again, it's like your mind opening up. And there's going to be something that comes along. And with this Knight of Swords too, you see that there's kind of a skull and crossbones at the bottom. But yet he's rearing up on his horse and he's just riding over it. Like he's just like, okay, I'm leaving this behind me. So, and the root of this, the root of all this energy is the star. And the star really is a beautiful, the image in this deck is very poignant. It has a lot of meaning in it. But you see a woman on a boat and she's using a sextant to chart the stars. And you see there's a lot of water. You see such rocky water, because again, there's more rocky water there, right? But there's a star in the distance, and there's a seagull. And anytime you see a seagull, you know land is nearby. So, yeah, guys, you know, the seagull and land being nearby, I think you're almost out of the woods. I think you were feeling really like I really get this feeling like you've been trying to hunker down and get through something that's left you very, it's like the only thing that you could do was be emotionally absent in order to deal. And now some kind of news is going to really give you hope, and it's going to make you feel like it's full speed ahead. And you're still in rocky waters. That's the other thing. Both of these images have rocky waters, but it's almost like you're given the idea or you're given the direction for you to go. I think this is another thing that maybe in the beginning of the week you felt like you didn't have a direction or you didn't know what to do. So you just sat there, right? You felt kind of stuck. And again, this is a whirlwind of, I would be very curious if you could please, if you feel so inclined to comment, that's all mental energy. And you got the star, which is, it's just saying that there's hope. Something is going to happen fast, right? And like wind, because this is air energy, wind is going to be behind your sails, right? You're going to be blown in the direction, you know. But I'm really curious because that knight is a messenger. He's been sent on a very direct mission. I really get the feeling that by the middle of the week, you're going to be given new hope that's just really going to light you up, and it's going to be very hopeful, and it's going to give you a direction. I almost feel like, and again, with her charting the stars, it's almost like you're going to be given a course. That's the other thing. You're given a course here, a course here, a course here. You have a direction, and in the apex of it is this great new ace. It's like, okay, this is where you go now. This is where you go. You know, full speed ahead. Now, by the end of the week, you got the Death card and you got the Knight of Coins. Now, I definitely do not want you to be afraid. There's no such thing. There's no bad cards in tarot, but the Death card is very transformative. And actually, the Death in this deck is not so bad. Not many people understand it because it's a different kind of. All of the images are very different, you know, interpretations. But here it's considered dancing death. And what I see with that is that I've always said before, you know, death is a natural transition. When something is no longer serving you, if you're no longer happy in a job, or maybe you've outgrown a job, maybe you've outgrown a relationship, or maybe it was just not any good for you, what'll happen is if you dance with it, if you go with the transition, if you let what needs to fall away, it'll be more like a dance than it would be anything traumatic, right? Because so many people look at death and they think, oh gosh, something really sudden is going to come in and just be a sudden loss. but this is not a sudden loss. Actually, underneath it, you got the Knight of Coins, which is the slowest moving knight in the deck. So what it's telling me is, and the fact that the Knight is he makes money, but he does it in a very slow and steady way. And I had mentioned when we had a tarot with the Knight of Wands not too long ago, and remember how I told you that all the knights are normally in their early 20s? They're kind of that young adult energy. You see it with the Knight of Coins. You see he's flipping a coin in the air, and he's leaning on his hot red card, you know, and it's a green card. I think that's great. But it's so great. He's parked out in a field, but in the distance you see a metropolitan city. So he's in no rush to get where he's going, right? So I think what's happening is right now all of this, the middle of the week is all the realm of ideas. You're charting your course, right? And you have land in sight, right? And you're excited. I think you've been stagnant for so long, and now you get a chance. You see how the ace is showing you the way forward, and there's the star. But I think by the end of the week, you're going to realize, and these are two major arcanas, right? But you're going to see that this is going to be a slow transition. The old way of life is going to go away, but it's almost as if you're building yourself up financially. What needs to fall away will fall away, but it's in no way going to be traumatic. You're definitely going to see it coming, and you'll be able to navigate those waters, because remember the Six of Swords. But you are just going to be excited about it. All of this is in the middle of the week. You're going to have a lot to think about, and it's going to be exciting. Now your charms, if we go ahead and show you, is you got the 2 upside down, you got the star, you got the fox upside down, and you got the seahorse. And you got I love crafting. So what I see here is, first off, the star and the star card, I think, and it's a big star, right? It's a big star. And if you look at it, there's a big star in the sky, right? There's a big star in the sky that you are charting your course against. So I just think it just reiterates that all of this is good. Your middle of the week is going to be very exciting. Now, the seahorse is kind of the seahorse is very it's an omen of being very prosperous. Seahorses. First off, this is a weird fact, but male seahorses actually carry their young. And they have a lot, almost like fish. When they have children, they have a lot of children. Now, there's a great card that I always think of with the Animal Spirit Oracle that says wait and see. It's almost like, you know, I think with all this mental energy, you're going to get a whirlwind of excitement about what's to come. But these energies are still gestating, right? You're still carrying them. What's going to come hasn't come yet, but there's good things in the wings, right? You're close to land, right? Now, and so it's telling you to just kind of watch and wait, but you are allowed to be excited, because this is you're moving away from troubled times. Now, the fox being in reverse. The fox is very shrewd, and he's all about self-preservation, right? The reason he's so cunning is because he puts number 1 first, right? So here, again, I get the feeling as if you're coming out of that energy. I think you're coming out of survival mode, right? I really do think 4 of Cups, I think that was survival mode. I think you were really hunkering down, and you're coming out of that energy, and you get to watch and wait. But you chart your course, you know, make your plan, right? And it's going to happen gradually. Now, the 2 in reverse, I do kind of get the feeling as if the fact that I am seeing kind of knights here, and it's one person. I think that some of this energy some of your plan you might have to do by yourself. I do kind of get the feeling, because again, the star is one person, the knight is one person. I do think that some of this involves a little bit of independent. The other thing is that twos are usually choices. And so what it might be indicating is that, again, with the seahorse, I think you might have to wait a little bit before you make any permanent decisions. But go ahead and chart. The other thing about when you're sailing, there's never a straight line when you're sailing. You just kind of, and especially when you're navigating by the stars, right? You just kind of look at the direction you want to go, and you make sure, you know, 1 minute the lighthouse might be directly in front of you, and then a few minutes later you might veer off course. I think it's telling you that just kind of go in that general direction. This is very hopeful energy, but you don't have to, it doesn't have to be a straight line. I think that's what it's saying. And the last thing is, I love crafting. You know, I think that I kind of read this two ways. I know with definitely firsthand with all of this pandemic stuff, doing things that you love to do, and especially when you create something, and that can be anything, you know, crafting can really be anything. It can be music, you can be making things, you can be sewing, you can be, you know, really anything that you like to do that is a craft, right? I think that that's really going to help you feel better, especially in the beginning of the week. Also, the feeling that I get is that a lot of this swords energy is an idea. Maybe you have this really great idea for something that you can make and sell. You know, again, it might constitute to this Knight of Coins, you know, your slow transition away from tough times. So if there is something that you like to do that's creative, indulge in that. If you have a great idea for some kind of creative project, I would definitely pursue that. I think that's part of your star energy. And then or potentially it can be kind of supplemental income as well. I see the Knight of Coins as being on a mission, right? He's still, you know, he's flipping his coin in the air because, you know, he's accumulating his fortune, right? So that might be something that you can do as kind of a side job that would really, you know, help you along your course. All right, guys. Well, wow, that was really powerful. And let me go ahead and we'll collect this. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put your 6 of Swords right on top, and I'm going to pull out the other one as well. And then we will keep going. Oh, I flipped right to it. Look at that. Synchronicity alert, guys. It's a common denominator. And I'll go ahead and put our charms there. All right. So, deck number 3, the Linestrider Tarot. Let's go ahead and see. I told the other decks we're going to be pulling charms to see, and I'm so excited. I actually made this bag, and it really goes with the blue. And you see on my table here, I've got that theme going. So let's go ahead and see what is the energy for your week. So beginning of our week. Ooh. Okay, middle of our week. Wow, that landed right in my lap. And end of the week, please. Ooh, okay. That wanted to come out right under the King of Swords, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to leave it there because I think that was a position thing. I'll ask again. End of the week, please. Energy for the end of the week. Energy for the end of the week. Did one flip? Okay, sorry guys. Energy for the end of the week. Okay, that one definitely flipped. Okay. Now, as I was shuffling, I did see the 10 of Wands and I saw the star. Please clarify the devil, please. Okay. I did kind of see the Hanged Man, and I saw Justice as well. So it's a lot of majors. That's a lot of majors. But let's go ahead and we'll get your charms. All right. Loving this bag. Goes with the color theme. All right, just a few charms. For deck number 3, what's their energy for the week? Oh, holy crap. I'm sorry, did I say that? What it is that I have little magnets in it, in the dish, and the magnet can hold on to a lot, apparently. We got quite a few numbers here, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's making so much sense. Oh, okay, we'll get in. Goodness, all right. Wow. Just wow. Okay. I can't wait to get into your charms. All right. Sorry. I keep going out of focus. Both verbally and camera. Sorry, guys. Oh, it's Saturday. We're allowed to get loose, right? Okay. The weekend is here. All right. I'm going to shush and get to your read. Now, all right. Wow, guys, I'm not going to lie. Seriously, when I was asking to clarify the devil towards the end of the week and justice and the justice and the Hanged Man wanted to pop out, and then instead I got the Hermit, we got some stuff going on here. There are no bad cards in tarot. There are never any bad cards in tarot, but you got a little bit of drama going on. But the thing about majors is that, and I'll throw this out there and we'll get into your read. The thing about majors is this is not something that came out of the blue. It never is. I always think of the majors as being the bigger gears of a clock. When the bigger gears turn, they touch the smaller gears, which touch the smaller gears. So it's almost like the gear of the year turns, which turns the gear of the month to the gear of the week to the day. And there are even larger gears that can be decades or lifetimes, right? And so what it is that these bigger energies are not coming out of the blue, but these are slow movements that have been turning these smaller events for some time. So you'll know what this pertains to. But let me just right out the gate, as I was shuffling, the beginning of the week, you got the King of Swords. And the King of Swords in this deck in particularly, because he looks like he definitely looks like he's a frost king, right? It looks like he is made of crystals, right? What always throws me is what makes me look like snow or ice is his eyebrows, right? The expression on that face, I don't even think he has pupils. But what it is that, something about the mustache and the eyebrows. The King of Swords is not a bad character. The Queen of Swords is not a bad character. But he's a very strategic person. He's wickedly smart. And he values thought very much, because thought is what puts him in his power, right? Just like all of the other suits, just like the pages are the learners, they're the students, just like the knights are the adventurers, they're the journeyers, and the queens are the nurturers. The kings are the ones who have mastered their suit. They are the masculine, mature expression of their suit. They're the last card, right? The King of Swords is the last card of the Swords suit, which means that he has had all the experiences of the page. He's had all the experiences of the knight. He's very, very, very mental. And sometimes when it's in the positive, because it is in the upright, it just means someone who, again, he can think out a situation backwards and forwards and know exactly what to do. He also knows how to play the game. So he knows what steps to take to get what he needs to get done, right? Now, what happened was, I was kind of going for the end of the week energy, and the Knight of Swords, the Knight of Swords, and he actually came out in the second deck too. The Knight of Swords came out in the reverse, underneath the King of Swords. So I'm just going to come out and read it as I see it, and there are no bad cards. And honestly, by the end of the week, I am seeing some more peaceful energy. Okay, so don't despair. There's nothing. I'm not telling you you're going to have a crappy week. It's not like that at all. There's no bad cards in tarot. If anything, looking at these images, it kind of helps you cope a little bit. At least it helps me. But you know, that's what I like about card reading, is that it helps you analyze these kind of tough feelings, right? It helps you, and goodness knows if you're in the King of Swords energy. But what it means is that the Knight of Swords, when it's upright, is very fast, very quick, you know, news. Like, okay, let me tell you something, right? And the King of Swords does not mince words. That combination of Knight and King is like, let me tell you something, let me break it down for you. And he'll, you know, it's like playing a 3-minute game of chess. Right? It's that quick and that succinct. But here we have the Knight of Swords flipping out in the reverse. So you are going to, at the beginning of the week, there's going to be, if this is a person, you either have someone who is wickedly angry at you, who is ready to break it down and rip you apart with words, or you are going to be in that energy yourself. It's almost like you're thinking, and it's that very, and you even see red there, and the circle of it. It's going to be a churning, like you can't wait to let this verbal off the leash, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. Now, it could be that something happened. And I'm not telling you you're going to have a crappy week. You would know what this pertains to, right? You would know, I think by the time you see this reading, you would know what this is about. Maybe you had a falling out with someone. Maybe someone pissed you off. Maybe you felt, I'm not seeing any 10s, so I don't think there was any betrayal anywhere. But there's definitely something that you are really up in your head about, and this is boiling, where you want to just, it's going to come out like spitting daggers is what it's going to be like. And so this is either your thoughts or somebody else's who's ready to, you know. So if you are dealing with somebody who is the King of Swords, this person is really wanting to talk to you, and when they talk to you, it's almost going to be one of those conversations where you know they probably spent days stewing about it, and it's almost like they practiced their poison. There we go. They practiced their poison pen speech for you. But I don't want you to be afraid. This could very well, sometimes, you know, I sometimes see this energy, and I've been there, done that. I'm a Libra sun sign. When I feel like something is unjust, I get into that energy pretty quick, actually. But what this I usually kind of see this when you feel like you've been wronged. Like maybe you had like a bad customer service experience and you're ready to pen like a 5-page letter of how, you know, crappy somebody is. It's kind of like that energy. It can be like work related. It can be family related, but definitely you're crafting a poison pen letter, or you're dealing with someone who's delivering that to you at the beginning of the week. And this person, the other thing is that if this is someone that you're dealing with, I would just say you want to kind of use a little bit of care with this person. The King of the Swords upright normally is he's just normally a very witty and very smart person, but especially in the times that we're in, it can be someone who's a little bit isolated. And the more time that you have to stew when you have that kind of intelligence, and the root of it is a Knight of Swords, this person might be very negatively up in their head, like almost to kind of a negative slant. So I do think that this person needs to let it out, almost like a pressure valve. But I would also, the other thing about it is, if this is someone you're dealing with, don't take any verbal abuse. That's the other thing, is because, and we've all been there. I think it is, I would probably advise that if this is your energy, one way to kind of deal with it is maybe do that, write that really nasty letter and really just pour out all the things you want to say, you know, nice or not nice. And then, you know, hold on, don't mail the letter, right? Don't do it that way to kind of alleviate yourself. You know, you expressed yourself. Either that, or the other thing that I'm kind of seeing is that this does look like a pressure cooker. It looks like this is, you know, the knight is underneath the king, where you are probably wickedly angry about something, but you're keeping your composure on the surface. But some of that venom is going to spout out, you know, it's just going to be real stern. But I'm sorry, I know I really elaborated on that. When I see that kind of energy, if this is you, I really want you to take care of yourself and to let it out. If you're on the receiving end of this, I do think that the other person needs to let it out, but do not become a pain cushion, right? But you would know what it pertains to. Also, you know, if anything is triggering you mentally, your first priority is to take care of you. So, you know, stepping away and counting to 10 is usually very advised. Try not to say anything while you're in the heat of something, because 9 times out of 10 you usually regret it, you know, even though you're fuming and it's probably justified. Now, by the middle of the week, you've got a lot of tumultuous energy that kind of carries over. Now we're moving into wands, so instead of it being mental, and it's possible that someone chews you out in the beginning of the week and then it results, you know, in some physical awkwardness later, because you got the 7 of Wands. And the 7 of Wands is, you kind of see that goat that's up. I think this is a really cute depiction, not in a cute, funny way, but kind of a true way. You see the mountain goat there, right? Which kind of reminds me of Capricorn. You know how Capricorns are always so level-headed. They just keep on, you know, trekking up the mountain, even though the terrain gets treacherous. But you see the mountain goat on the hill, right? And what you see is, you see a very violent-looking fox, and then you see a goose. And it's almost kind of like chaos. So, you know what I'm almost kind of feeling is, I'm wondering if there is some kind of either home environment or work environment that's just kind of going somewhere in a handbasket this week. And believe me, trust me, times have been very, very hard. And I can assure you, everyone being stuck inside together, it has brought out it's, you know, I've had some not even little, you know, bickering fights with family over stupid stuff, because, you know, this pandemic has a psychological effect, it has a financial effect, it really starts to wear you down. But I do get the feeling as if this is going to be, you're going to be taking the high ground, because the 7 of Wands is holding your ground, right? But the other thing is, what it is you have going to have a lot coming at you, right? So some of this might not even be your drama, right? You're just kind of in the center of it, because doesn't it look like he's in the eye of that storm, you know? He's just trying not to, you know, and the sad thing about this is it almost looks like blood's being shed, right? It's almost as if you're trying to keep the high ground while all this carnage is going on. Now, this could be family matters, or this could be the fallout of what happened at the beginning of the week, right? So again, you might be dealing with, the other thing about the King of Swords is that he's a pretty cold character. I don't think he's calculating, and I don't mean to make him out to be the bad guy, because in the upright he's normally not that bad. He's normally very witty and just smart as hell. But when you have that energy in its angry form and, you know, taking action against you, you know, you see that sword. I think there might be other people involved in this, and I really get the sense like it's the fact, the expression on both of these faces, it almost looks like you. I'm really getting the feeling like the King of Swords is you. It's almost like you have to, it's almost as if underneath the surface you just you have all these opinions about, you know, you could really be like, this is some crap, but you keep the professional face to it. So this could be a work thing. There might be some battles going on at work where you really feel like you're David against Goliath. You're just trying to keep the high ground, but there is definitely there's some stuff going on around you. If it's family, I just caution about staying in that real cerebral mindset, because that can drive you a little crazy if you don't have an expression for how you're feeling. But middle of the week, you're going to hold your ground. You're going to hold your ground. And you look at the expression on the poor goat's face. He almost looks a little numbed out, like, oh God. You know, you don't even know how he's going to get off that pedestal, right? You know, it's the other thing that I'm kind of getting from this, and I'm just going to come out and say it, guys. This looks a little traumatizing to me, and I don't want you to be afraid. This sounds like a gloom and doom reading. It's not like that at all. Actually, I'm glad that I'm seeing you kind of keeping the high road, and I think that's a testament to your character, is that you are going to rise above it. You're not going to stoop to the rest of the, you know. Maybe there is some, you know, there's some backbiting going on and you're not having it. You're not going to participate in that, and that's you keeping classy. That's the other thing about the King of Swords, is he doesn't stoop to emotional outbursts like that. He keeps his composure, and that's also what I see here too. I think you're really going to keep your composure, but I think you're looking at some stuff that looks like a really bloody scene, and I think you might be witnessing some stuff that you really don't agree with. And I just think that you're going to hold your ground, and it's going to be hard to do. I think in the middle of the week you are going to feel like you're going to feel like you're fighting the good fight, but you might feel like you're fighting it alone. But I do want you to continue to fight, because the Seven of Wands it's you standing your ground, and that's always a good energy. Stand up for what you believe to be right. Don't let anything else around you deter you from that. And so I would hold tight to that by the middle of the week. Now, by the end of the week, I promised you some good energy, and there's some light at the end of this tunnel. By the end of the week, you got the Two of Wands. And I love this because first off, it has this adorable bunny on it, and the bunny is always about abundance, right? It's about new things coming that's really exciting, right? You see his little thumper foot, you know? And he's got the globe, which means the world. So what's happening, though, is the Two of Wands is a decision. The Two of Wands is a decision. It's the other thing that you notice here is that in the corner there, you see a little lily, right? If it'll focus. And the lily is about maturity, right? It's about maturity. Now, the other thing, I'm just going to throw it out there, is that there is a little bit of a sexual connotation, because you got a rabbit, and the lily can also mean, sexual attraction or maturity. But I definitely think what's happening here is you kind of have a choice of two paths, right? The Two of Wands, we had a tarot on the Two of Wands. I would highly suggest checking out that video if you have a minute, because it'll give you something good it'll give you kind of a focus to look forward to if things are feeling a little chaotic by the middle of the week. But you basically have a choice. You have a choice between staying with the rod that you have, which is the situation or action that you've already started, or you have a choice of a second rod, which is a new adventure, right? And you really feel like the new adventure might give you the world, right? It might be a good direction to go. But underneath, the root of the Two of Wands is that you got the Devil and you got the Hermit. And remember, when I clarified the Devil at first, the two cards that wanted to come out was, oh gosh, what was it? The Hanged Man and Justice. So again, with justice and with this, it's almost, I'm definitely getting a feeling as, because this is the Two of Wands, and remember, in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, one rod is bolted to the tower, bolted to the wall, and then the other rod is in his hand where he's looking out at what could be. I think that whatever obligation or whatever situation is giving you, making you feel this way, is your current obligation, and I don't think it's making you very happy. Actually, I think it's infuriating you, but you're holding it in, and there's a lot of drama. There's something, and again, that could be work, it could be family, but you're debating whether or not to stay in the current situation or to venture out and try something different. But the devil is feeling, you see how the two persons are tied, right? And they're covering their face. I really think that the devil is feeling trapped. It's feeling like codependent on something. I feel like, what's happening is that there's something holding you to that first action. You might have committed yourself to something or started some kind of project or some kind of job that you've committed to do, and you can't leave, right? Maybe it's financial obligations, maybe it's family obligations, but you feel stuck, you feel tied to that first commitment. And what you're doing is, because you've been through all these thoughts, and because you've witnessed all of this, and you've really had to fight, I think you're pulling away, and you're like, okay, what do I do? Right? You've seen the situation. You look at the colors. It's the same orange colors. You've seen the situation. You know what's going on. And you're looking at it, and look at that bear. He's looking at the devil and going, okay, what do I do? Right? What do I do? So I think by the end of the week, you are going to be feeling pretty stuck. It's almost like the Two of Wands, the person wants the rabbit, right? You want to be the rabbit that's on to newer and more exciting things. And you also want to feel like you're moving. That's the other thing. I think the other thing is you want to feel like you're moving forward in a positive direction. But something is holding you to the first rod. So you're going to pull into yourself, and you're really going to say, okay, what can I do? What can I do? So you're going to be in a real reclusive kind of energy by the end of the week. You're gonna pull into yourself. You're gonna go up to the mountaintop, and when you look at the bottom of the bear, you see a skull, which is representative of death or transformation, and then you see the lantern that has the star inside, right? So you're gonna think about what your options are, and what can you do to get out of that devil energy. And how can you honestly go towards the new option for you? The other thing is that you probably are still stuck in a choice, though, right? You're still stuck in a choice. Now, I'm really excited for your charms because it doesn't look like much, but I want to go ahead and show you. So first off, can I just tell you that this is how that charm fell? And what do we got here? You got a bunny and a bunny, right? So that tells me, oh my gosh, look at this, guys. It looks like the same rabbit, right? Tell me that does not look like the exact same bunny. And he fell right on his feet. It's like he's standing the exact same way, right? So what that tells me is that reaffirms this two of Wands to me. You have a choice. You have, it's almost like a fork in the road is what I'm seeing. You have a choice between two paths. And the path that you've already been following is actually, it's becoming a little bit, I think also what you're trying to decide is will it always be this way, right? Is this just a fluke thing that, everything's, going to crap this week, that everyone's fighting this week and I'm infuriated this week, Will it get better is kind of what I think you're wondering, right? Now, the other thing that you got is you got the key. And the key, I think of the Hermit, because key is unlocking a solution, right? And that really is what the Hermit, he hasn't necessarily came to a conclusion yet, but he's weighing all of his options. He's observing, he's taking all of the evidence and seeing what he can do. Now, you also got the Dolphin, right? Now, the Dolphin is neat because it's interesting. There's another card from the same Animal Oracle deck that the Dolphin says this or that. And I'm getting a real choice here, guys. I think by the end of the week you're going to be deciding, okay, you know, how am I tied to something? And, you know, the other thing about the Dolphin is that the card talked about how this is true and that is true, which means like a dolphin, he's a mammal, but he lives under the water. So he's both things, right? The other thing is that the dolphin knows how to play, right? They know the importance of play. And I think I just really get a reaffirmation that you have some kind of choice and you really have to think about this or that. Okay, which do you want to go with? Now, what I was giggling about is that you got, even though we only technically pulled 4 charms, the last charm was a magnet that says believe, right? It says believe. And if you look at the back of it, this thing got magnetized to about 4 different charms. So let's see what we got. You got the arrow, right? Oh my gosh, that's about taking aim. And then besides the arrow, you got the dice. You got the dice and you got the 6 on it, right? Then you got the 0 and you got the number 3. Hey guys, so what you are looking at is completely different in lighting and in scenery than 3 seconds ago. I thought I was focusing my camera and I ended up turning off my camera, so I lost some footage. But it is no harm, no foul. We're just going to go ahead and pick up where we left off. We were almost done with the reading, so, and actually it might even give me a few minutes to glean some more insights from your read. So we're just going to keep on going. But we were talking about all these cool dice, all the charms that were attached to the back of your magnet, which says believe, right? So, you know, the other thing that I kind of see here is that, you know, with the rabbit being abundance and the dolphin being play, you know, I think it is kind of the universe, you know, telling you to take heart at the end of the week, that there are solutions. But what I kind of see here is that with these charms, the arrow is about, we talked about how the arrow is like taking aim, right? It's like being an archer. It's like having your eye on the prize, right? And I do think that is the case with the 2. I think what's happening is you have a choice, but you really do have your eye on the other option and you really want to go for it, right? You want to take aim. Now, what I thought was interesting is that with the dice, that is really, when you see the 6, the 6th card of the major arcana is the Lovers, right? And it is, when you kind of see the 6 listed like that, it's like 3 dots vertical, you know, to one another. And it is, we talked in the How to Tarot on the Lovers about how the 3 is almost like, you know, your body, heart, and spirit, right? But here, I really do think I just really feel like it's a choice. And I think what this makes me think of is it makes me think of throwing the dice, like almost like a gamble. I also hear the phrase high roller, right? As if the stakes are high, right? Like there's a large ante here, right? So things could be, you know, gained or things can be lost. It's possible that maybe this King of Swords character that you're, if it's a separate energy from yourself, maybe he's a real high rolling kind of person, or maybe in making this decision, and making this decision of you know, becoming unobligated, or you know, making a choice there, it might be a little bit of a gamble for you. It might, you know, you'll either win big or lose big. But the nice thing about this is that you definitely see that you got the 6, which is a high number, right? And if you're familiar with dice, I'm not real good with dice for, you know, playing, but I think that's a good omen, right? And so yes, so you're playing. The other thing it tells me is that you're playing to win, right? You're playing to win. Now below it you have 3, and if you look at it, you can kind of see both of them right there. You got 6 dots, but 3 and 3, and then you got 3 behind it. So I think what that kind of reads 2 ways to me. It could mean that you're looking to progress past the choice. Like, you know, what follows the 2 is the 3, right? Once you've made the choice, you start going in the direction that you want to go. And I think, you know, and that actually kind of makes sense, because if you have a choice, you have, if you go one way, then you're going from the 2 to the 3 in one direction. But if you choose the other way, you're going from 2 to 3 in the other, you know, the other opposite direction. So I think it is telling you to take aim. And the other thing is that some of this might involve like a third person, or at least you and 2 other people. Now, you got the 0, which I think is such great, because the 0, when you look at Major Arcana, the 0 is the Fool. It's the stepping off the cliff and having the faith that you're going in the direction that you want to go. So I do think it plays into this energy of you really want to feel free. You don't want to feel this devil energy. You want to pick a direction and go in that direction. Now, when you look at the last charm, and this one's kind of interesting, you see, here, I'll take it off the magnet so you can see it better, but it's the ball of yarn. And when you look at the ball of yarn, you see the 2, you know, the 2, and what it is that in my Intuit Oracle, there's a great card with a ball of yarn, and it says complicated. It's complicated, right? It's tangled, right? And when you look at knitters, what they have to do is they have to untangle. Sometimes they have to untangle. You see, have you ever seen it when knitters sit and they have their hands like this, and someone's wrapping the yarn around your hands, right? And what you're trying to do is you're unraveling everything so you can wrap it back up into a nice little ball, right? And if you notice, there are 2 knitting needles here, right? And there's 2. There's another 2. I think your goal is to really untangle the situation. I think you recognize that this is a complicated, you know, obligation riddled choice. But the Hermit is such a good omen, because anytime I see the key in Lenormand means it means breakthrough, and as do swords, right? It's about seeing the situation with clarity, right? And it also means having a solution, right? It means unlocking something, right? So I think you do. I think your goal, I think that's what you have your aim for, and what you're gambling on. You know, it's like what you're throwing, you're casting the die, and you're making a choice, and you want to proceed forward, and you know, you want to be that fool. You want to have that freedom again. But by the end of the week, I don't see the choice being made yet, but just like we said with the dolphin, it's this or that, you know. You're going to be weighing your options, and I think you're going to be pulling into yourself. You're really going to be, you know, with the King of Swords, you're really going to be observing the situation from a very logical and also a very spiritual kind of angle. You know, I wouldn't doubt it if you were meditating and kind of trying to go inward for answers. But wow, guys, that's a really incredible read. Again, I don't want you to be afraid. I don't think you're going to have a bad week. I do think it's going to be a challenging one. And I think, you know, being proactive and again, one of the reasons I love to read cards is because it kind of prepares you, not to say, nothing that comes out in the cards is ever written in stone. It's not like, okay, I saw it in the cards, so that's going to happen to me and that's awful. No, it's kind of like looking at it and thinking, gosh, yeah, I do have a situation in my life that's like this, and how do I manage it? How do I handle it? If that were to happen next week, what would I do? And it's kind of like a form of, again, well, I justify it to myself because I always say, cards are cheaper than therapy, right? But I don't think that you're going to have a bad week. I do think by the end of the week, you're going to have options, and you're going to be pulling into yourself spiritually. You are still going to feel a little obligated to something, but you're going to be trying to go to a higher place to figure out what the solution is to those problems. So guys, wow, I do think that that's going to be an excellent week. I think all 3 piles had a good week, and I really enjoyed pulling out the charms. I will definitely try to pull them out more often, again, with my lovely bag and my dish. But I do wish everyone a wonderful week. I think it'll be a good one. And if you are so inclined, please feel free to join me on Tuesday. We are continuing with the Pentacles. We are going to do we're going to be talking about the wonderful fluctuation of the 2 of Pentacles. So I hope you can join me then, and I'll catch you later. Bye.